Hello, Scrappy Peeps. Suzanna here today for the Scraproom to share with you a layout I created using the December Flavor of the Month kit. Those are the flavors that are there, and today I'm creating with Pebbles' Cozy and Bright collection, and that is the layout that I created. So there are two photos. The colors in this collection are really, really bright. I love the colors, but when you have photos that are taken usually in the dark and contain a lot of red and green already, I find that the photo tends to get lost in the colors. So in order to help pop the photos to really tell the story better, I converted both of those photos to black and white. And they really do pop much better and tell the story of this layout much better. So I have taken the red and I have framed the photo with it. And normally when I mat the photo, I usually go about 1/4 of an inch around each border. But what I've done with this is, because I wanted to create kind of a mantelpiece for those stockings to hang off of, I went a little bit further on the left and then short on the right, so that I could have a little bit of that color and have somewhere to nestle some embellishments. I then also took the green and I went back and forth. You can see I flipped the paper there, whether I wanted to use the more pattern side or the more tone-on-tone green side, and just bannered, I V'd off either end so that I could create that banner on either side. I used my silhouette machine to cut some foliage from that green. I also did use some green cardstock from my stash. It was a lighter green, and the reason I used the cardstock from my stash was because the cardstock that comes with the collection, which is also green, is pretty much the same tone, which works really nicely if that's what you're looking for, but I wanted just a slight variation there. And then I have this intentionally cut slight incline, again, just to add a little bit of visual interest to the layout. And then I wanted to use the washi that comes with the collection, but the washi is very opaque, and so in order to make it that you can see the pattern on this particular washi that I got in my kit, I'm going to put it on some white cardstock, just a scrap piece that you see there, and then rip it just like you would with washi tape, and you can see how the design, the pattern pops out and becomes much more visible. So just a small tip for you there if you have a white backed washi and you want to use it to make it more visible. So because Christmas is sparkly and shiny and the Christmas tree is sparkly and shiny, I felt like I needed some sparkly and shiny elements. I love that Pebbles used some glittery pieces, and you will get those in your embellishments that come with the kit. I just didn't feel that it was sparkly enough and I needed some gold, so I used from my kit that doily, that gold doily back there. And now I'm going to dig through the embellishments that came with my kit. So remember, when you get Scraproom kits, you don't get all of the embellishments, which is nice. You just get a little flavor. It's kind of a taste to see whether you like the collection. And oftentimes I find that it's the perfect amount. I don't need any more, and my ordering the whole collection, it usually just sits there in the baggie and gathers dust until I decide to sell it off. So you can see by hanging the 3 stockings there, I was able to get 2 stockings off of the sticker sheet. So I got a half a sticker sheet and then a die cut stocking, and I hung the 3 stockings so that it looks like your mantle on Christmas Eve. And that's what these pictures are. These are of my daughter as she's putting out the milk and cookies and her letter, quote unquote, to Santa. So she didn't write an actual letter this year or this past Christmas. Henry, our elf, he brought a little board that you can fill out, and you put your name and your age and what it is that you want from Santa. And so that's what she filled out there as her quote-unquote letter to Santa. And so I've committed to the placement of all of these things, and so now it's time to stick them down. I wanted to make sure that the banner's straight because it didn't run all the way through, so I just put my ruler down, and then I'm going to try and recreate the scene there. So you see that mistletoe, that is the Thickers word that I got. So Rochelle cut up the thicker sheet and sent everybody a different word. Mistletoe didn't work for this particular layout, so I did not use that and went with my own letter stickers. I wanted a little bit of dimension, and because the leaves of the greenery that I cut out have a lot of dimension to them, I felt that popping that sign that said Christmas Eve, or the label that said Christmas Eve, made it just stand out just that little bit more. And I will further decorate that in a little bit. So I want to fill that green and red space to the left of the photo there, and then I also want to put something on that shelf down the bottom there. So I'm kind of just trying out elements, and I really liked the Santa and the elf, which is what I ended up going with because it is Christmas Eve, and that's kind of what that's what Christmas Eve, well, it's not what it's all about, but to my children, this is what Christmas Eve, it's the excitement of Santa. So I have from my stash, these are just little gems from Doodlebug, and I thought that putting them in the foliage would be neat, kind of like holly berries, but they get lost in there. But I do really like the red gems on either side of Christmas to just kind of pop that title and again add a little bit of splash to it. So the berries, the holly berries, I will pull out later, but I will just leave the ones that are on that popped label there. And then I'm going to, so you see the elf down the bottom, and then there's kind of that gap to that left-hand side of the photo there. So by putting Santa there, I fill that in, and then it kind of makes that sticker that I put in the top left corner of that photo right there that I'm fussing around with there a little redundant. It becomes too busy in that corner, and so I'm going to pull that off. Now it's time to do some title work. So again, these are from my stash. These are American Craft gold foiled thickers, and they're actually, I think, from Target is where these came from. So because the title of the layout is pretty generic and it just says Christmas Eve, I put the year down the bottom there. That allows me to identify what year, and then you saw me hold up 3 fingers there. I felt like I needed a trio of gold things, so I've got the doily, and then I put that M next to Santa because Mia is her name, and then the year, and then there's that visual triangle that pulls your eye through the photo, the title, and the journaling. And then I'm just going to journal about Christmas Eve and the story, tell the story of this particular evening, and I'm using just a black pen to do that on this white background. So that, my friends, is my layout created using the December Flavor of the Month mini kit from Pebbles. So I hope you enjoyed this process video. If you did enjoy it, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the box down below. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you're doing well. Take care.